So the big question is this: how these entrepreneurs who started from scratch and had no idea how to sell or market their products or services online and then later on made over 6 figures, 7 figures or even 8 figures became best in their niches and found their dream customers to sell. My name is RJ Ahmed and find this all out in our Interviews with Entrepreneurs show. I interviewed these entrepreneurs and tried to pick their brain of how they actually did that and how they took their business as well as their life to the next level. This podcast is all about the entrepreneurs who strive so hard to become super awesome in their niches. Welcome to Interviews with Entrepreneurs. Welcome to Interviews with Entrepreneurs show, where we interview entrepreneurs who are super awesome in their niches. And today we have a special guest. You always heard, mindset is also one of the most important thing out there when you're running your business as an entrepreneur. And there's a lot of time it happens, you procrastinate, you got imposter syndrome, and you just don't move ahead, even though you know that is the way, but you're like there's something that's stopping. So today we are having a mindset coach who literally coached some of our favorite people out there, including Kathryn Jones, Josh Forti, and many more. So please welcome Katie Richardson. Hey, Katie.
Hello, hello. RJ, super excited to be here. Honored to be in this conversation with you today.
Thank you so much, Katie, for being on the show. It's truly an honor for us for having you on the show.
Love it. Awesome.
Awesome. So the people who are jumping on live, use hashtag live. The people who are jumping on replay, hashtag replay out there. I'm watching so many people are jumping on. So Katie, again, thank you so much. Could you tell us a bit of a backstory of out there, like how you got started and become an entrepreneur, like how the thing happened?
Yeah. So when I started, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 years ago, nobody was even using that word entrepreneur at the time. It was just known as being a small business. And I got started, I was somebody who had a product design degree, and I had an idea for how to change the baby industry. That's essentially what I ended up doing. Was I created a physical product that totally changed the baby industry. It's called Pudge, is my company, and we created a really brilliant baby bathtub. And long story short, it wasn't an easy journey, RJ, and it took me, a couple of years to get my product on the market. But once I did, it just took off. And within a year, we'd done over $1 million in 26 different countries and 2,000 stores in the US. We were named Product of the Year by Pregnancy and Newborn Magazine, on the Ellen Show, the Rachel Ray Show, the Today Show, on the cover of Entrepreneur Magazine. It exploded. And that was kind of just the beginning for me. And then for the next 10 plus years, I grew that company and then felt inspired to make a shift and a change and sold the company, which was awesome and amazing, and went from being a product designer to being in this world of entrepreneurship and really leading and guiding other people who are visionaries, dreamers, people who want to build something, not just something big, but something that's actually creating change and impact in the world. And that's what I do. So I coach entrepreneurs who are building 7, 8 figure businesses and need help. And this is the key right here. They need help understanding, how do I build this really big, significant business and not lose myself in the process?
Yeah.
I'd seen so many people who got caught up in the hustle culture of entrepreneurship, and it's easy to make the business the number one priority. And when we do that, our health fails, our relationships fail, our spirituality fails. And my quest was always, is it possible to do this, to play big and grow my marriage and have 4 children and be present with them and be there at the soccer games in the evenings or on the weekends? And that's always been my question and my journey, and that's what I help people do.
Wow, this is absolutely amazing out there. And one thing that you said right now is, getting more people out there sort of become the best version of themselves. And
Yeah.
that is something that most often happen in entrepreneurship, that some people just get into the hustle mode and business is only their priority, and they sometimes mess other things up that is happening in their life because they just consider business as the only thing that they need into the whole stuff, which is crazy. So
Yeah.
one thing that I want to know is, I know that you always talk about that, and that's the thing. Last time we discussed about when I messaged you over that. My takeaway was, to get clarity and to become the best version of yourself. That's the main thing that you talk about with the people out there.
Yeah.
They get clarity on the stuff, they become the best version of themselves. So they would be happy and be able to manage to do everything. But why you think so that being an entrepreneur, when we are into it and we are already different with the rest of the people out there who are into the world because of mindset or whatever the thing is, why you believe that people have such sort of a problem out there where they're just able to devote, they're not able to be fulfilling themselves, in the fullest level possible? Why do you think it's
Mhm.
happening in general?
It's easy to get caught up in the fame, the notoriety, the money, the attention of entrepreneurship. Like a lot of that comes along with it, especially when you're successful. And I have learned that while those things are cool and fun and exciting, they're not fulfilling. And there's no level of income, revenue that has you feeling fulfilled in life. And fulfillment comes from something much greater and much deeper. And so the question then becomes, well, how do I make sure I'm building a business that's growing, that's resourced? Because the business needs to be resourced, right? It has to have generate income for you, for your employees, and it has to be solving real problems. And so it's this question, like there's so many different elements, RJ, that we're trying to navigate. And there's ways that you can kind of cheat your way to the top, or there's ways where you could do it in a real sustainable way where you are within integrity with yourself and you're not feeling like, what have I done? Like I
Yeah.
compromised that person and I screwed that person over and I cheated my way here. Like those things aren't fulfilling. And so it's about understanding so many different things. It's about understanding, who you are and who you want to be in this world, and then understanding how to use your business as a vehicle for you to become that person, right? And to grow and stretch you in really beautiful and amazing ways. So I love that you're talking about mindset. Can I just say, like, that personally is super exciting to me, because when I started coaching 5 years ago, people were not open to mindset, and they thought it
Yeah.
was frou-frou and it wasn't really going to solve the problem. And everyone was all about hustle and grind and I'll sleep when I'm dead. And I think what people now see is that mentality is really destructive. It's very destructive and it's not sustainable. And the way to
Yes.
build a business is not from the outside in, it's from the inside out.
Yeah.
Here and here.
100%. And
Yeah.
yeah, and both of these things are like initially connected when people are unable to understand these type of things out there, and that is the reason why most of the things don't work with them.
Yeah.
And like I guess few days back, I saw an interview like Russell Brunson did with Tony Robbins, where Tony was also talking about one of these main things. The art of the art versus the fulfillment, something like that. We was talking about like having a sort of goal. Like it's not the only thing. What after the goal? If you've achieved the goal, then what next?
Mhm.
Then you're like almost like free. You have nothing to do, and you don't have sort of like art of fulfillment where you really know that there are some things which are super important for you, and don't ruin yourself, and don't ruin your life out there as well. So uh, this is one of the super common thing out there that people do, or other coaches ask to other people out there is, find the better version of yourself. Find the better version of yourself. Okay, you have to become the best version of yourself out there. And some people, they sooner or later they able to identify it on their own. For some people, they 100%, everyone needs a coach. But how a person can go in and identify what is the thing that they are really best of, what's the best thing that they can really do. And then, because I know about, I'm following you for like more than a year, I know that what you do is, you're almost like on the all of the sides out there, family
Mm.
life, business, everything. How
Mm.
people can go in and find the very best version of themselves where they can be like, yeah man, I am on the best level. It's like I can grow, but it's not like I'm procrastinating or something like holding me behind and I'm not moving forward.
It's a process of creation. Like the short answer is it's a process of creation. And part of that is tapping into your divine ability to choose. And so it's this combination of saying, okay, this is who I've been created to be, and whoever created you in your mind, for me that's God, but you have been created, right? There's things that make you, RJ, so unique and special, right? You have certain gifts and talents and abilities. And what we
Yeah.
want to do is we want to take those things that you're good at and maybe you're just kind of good at some of them and you want to be better at them. And I'm not saying you specifically, any of us. Like, I wasn't great at coaching when I first got started. I was pretty good, but I knew I could be way better, and I
Yeah.
wanted to be way better. And like at first when I was trying, RJ, it was hard. It was really hard, and there were a lot of things that were difficult for me to navigate. And even being in front of the camera and speaking to it, like, there was so much doubt that was, popping up as I was trying to speak and teach and train people, and even on sales call, like, it was so uncomfortable for me. And the thing that we have to understand and realize is, it's this combination of taking what you're good at, your skills, your abilities, and also bringing your choice and agency to it. And there were many times in the beginning when, in my coaching journey and in my other business, where it got hard, and I was like, maybe I'm not supposed to do this. Maybe this isn't
Yeah.
what I should be doing. And if I had listened to those doubts, I would have turned back. And I wanted to turn back many times. So the other element that I want you to see, like, yes, we have gifts and talents and abilities. And the other really essential element that we bring to it is choice and choosing to keep going. And so even though I wasn't the world's best coach when I got started, and I saw other people who were better than me, and it was intimidating, and it felt like I'm never going to get there, every time I had to make that decision and say, you know what? I want to keep going because I want to get really good at this. I know I have an ability to really help people in a really unique and profound way, and I want to get world class at that. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, for me in that situation in particular, I had already proven to the world that I was a world-class product designer. And so it was very tempting to want to run back to that because that was familiar. It was known. And in a sense, it was easy. And so for me to continue moving forward as a coach was not easy for me. And in, like, lots of honesty, there were a lot of mornings when I would wake up and be like, who do you think you are, Katie? Who do you think you are? What do you think you're doing? You don't have any certification for this. And there was a lot of tempting moments where I just wanted to turn back. And over again, I had to bring my agency and choose to keep going. So that's what I would say. Like, find those things that you're good at, that you like, and that maybe you're not even necessarily world class at, but you're like, yeah, I'm pretty good at this thing. And bring your choice and agency to that and say, and I want to get better. I want to get really, really good at it.
So I want to ask one of the counter question out there with that aspect is,
Yeah.
do you really believe that if someone love what they do versus that's not the thing that they should do, is something that you can define that? For example, if someone wants to cook food, and they're like better at it, but it's not the thing that's gonna be like beneficial for them in the future, and it's just like limited to it, or they're just limitizing themselves into a bubble. What do you think about it? Like, if people like love something to do and that's not the thing that's gonna grow them, should they gonna proceed with them? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think the short answer is I love what I do as a coach, and I'm really good at it, and it still very much challenges me. And I think
Yeah.
that's like the main component there, is if it's not challenging you anymore and it's not leading you towards the direction, the goal that you have for yourself, then it might be time to get out of that vehicle and get into a new vehicle. I look at our business as a vehicle, and whatever that business is for you, it is a vehicle for you to become who God created you to be. And when I
Yeah.
sold my physical products business, it had been an amazing vehicle, and I made the choice. It was time for me to get out of that vehicle and get into a new vehicle. And it was like, this is the thing people don't tell you when you build a multi-million dollar business and then you sell it, that, like, your identity is very tied up into it. You get a lot of attention and people return your calls and your emails because you're associated with that. And so when you separate yourself from that, there's almost this like, did I just make the right decision? Did I just make a huge mistake and something that I can't go back on?
Yeah.
And, so there's some of that feeling of, what have I done? Who do I think I am? What am I doing? And I certainly experienced that. Like I said, it was really comfortable in that life. And I took a giant leap into major discomfort. And so that's what I would say. Like if you're looking to grow and continually become the greatest version of yourself, then my question to you is, are you challenging yourself? And maybe it is your business. It doesn't necessarily have to be. I'm taking Spanish lessons right now. RJ, like I don't speak
Wow.
Spanish, but I'm like, I want to continue to grow and develop as a human being.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to speak another language. And so I'm taking Spanish lessons.
Hmm.
Like,
That's super awesome.
yeah. So continuing to challenge yourself, that's going to like, so maybe cooking doesn't challenge you, but are there components of cooking that you love and you enjoy, and you can maybe being on YouTube is uncomfortable for you. So that component of it is the piece that's going to challenge you, right?
Hmm.
So when it
Yep.
comes to the growth and development, it's just, are you challenging yourself? Are you constantly creating opportunities for you to step outside of your comfort zone?
Absolutely. I remember someone said new level, new devil,
Love
that's
it.
the thing that they said out there. And it was like mind blowing. And that's totally true. Like for me personally out there, like as I mentioned, it's like for 53rd episode, I started like almost like a year back. But when
Wow.
I was supposed to do my very first show out there, I was in my hostel, not better lighting, better mic, better camera. Nothing was better. It was 4 a.m. and I was doing live because I was like, if I can't do right now, I don't think I will be able to do it ever again. I know
Mhm.
that this is the thing that is super important, but I was like, if I can't do it, it's like I don't think it's possible. Same for public speaking when I did, in the university. It was like, if I can, I'm following Russell Brunson. It's like he's like so teaching like so many entrepreneurs out there, like being on the stage, like so many. If I can't like really like look him as a leader, if I can't really follow him up, like I can't be a leader for my people. I don't think it's really possible to do it. But yeah, that's the thing that came out of comfort zone and thing happened after that. But it
Yeah.
was super awesome.
Can I just take a moment and
Sure.
so you are a beautiful living example of what we have already been talking about. Nobody showed up and reached out to you and said, "Hey, RJ, you're really good at interviewing people. You should
Mhm.
start a show." And
Yeah.
nobody said, "Let me help you with the lighting and let me set up your camera and you should call it this." Nobody gave you that permission. You had to make that choice yourself. And in those quiet moments, right? When you were like, "I don't have the lighting that I want and I want a better camera." You still made the decision to do it, to take that leap and
Yeah.
to choose to put yourself out there. Like that's huge. And that's exactly what we're talking about.
100%, absolutely. I truly agree to it, and I truly appreciate that you said that. And I want to ask that you've been able to coach like so many like 7 8 figure entrepreneurs out there, but you've
Mhm.
been also like been able to see other people who either just start out or on the 5 figure mark, something like that. What you really believe is the mindset shift or the lack of mindset that people have who are on 6 figures, 7 figures, or like 8 figures. What do you think about it?
Mhm. So mindset has application everywhere. And in fact, it's everything. And I'll tell you why. We are creators. We are creating at every moment of our day. And
Yeah.
we either create ourselves to be tired and not excited about things, we create ourselves to be energized and committed and focused. We're constantly creating ourselves. And when we are at different levels, our thoughts are going to create and determine what we feel. And then what we feel is then going to influence and determine the actions that we take. And so if you don't understand that all things are first created spiritually, meaning in your mind, in your heart, all things are created spiritually first. And so no matter what level we're at, RJ, we are creating ourselves to view our business a certain way, to view ourselves a certain way, to take certain actions. And mindset is everything. It's the whole reason I'm here with you right now. I had so many
Yeah.
I didn't believe in myself in the beginning. I didn't believe in myself. I had so many people who believed in me and kept saying, you should do something with this. You're a really talented designer. You need to go make these products. And I had all the excuses in the world. I was a mother. I had 3 kids at the time, and it was just like, that's not possible. How am I going to be a mom and build a business at the same time? And the beautiful thing is, I was born in the day that I was, and the world was changing. And building a business and being able to be present with your family at the same time was now possible. And I
Yeah.
I was looking for that model. I was trying to figure out and understand how does one do that. And I couldn't find that model. And the beautiful thing is, I had this new thought in my mind. And a lot of times I like to believe that those thoughts come from God. And that was, Katie, you don't see the model of somebody who's built a 5, 6, 7-figure business and, has a strong marriage and is there with the kids. You don't see that, but creation. And while you don't see her, you can create her. The woman who you dream, wouldn't that be amazing if you can create her. And that is what I
Yeah.
did, RJ. And it starts here. Like the woman you see today, I created her. And it's this co-creation process. It's a combination of who God created me to be and the gifts and the talents and abilities that he gave me, and then bringing that choice and agency and saying, yes, and I want to do this with it.
Hmm.
Like you gave
Uh,
me these gifts and talents, God, and I want to do
yeah.
this with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the main things that you also like are you saying is sort of if we imagine what we really want to be, the imagination out there, what we really want to be, or like sort of like it's kind of manifesting yourself. Okay, this is the person that I really want to be. Now this is thing.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my goal, or this is my life and goal out there that I really want to do it. At least for right now, is probably gonna be the thing that we're gonna move forward because we are satisfying ourselves internally rather than all of the external forces out there. Because regardless, whatever the external forces are getting to you, it's like things happening internally. So that's the
Yes.
really thing that matters.
Can we use as an example of this? Because, I
Sure.
don't know your history up until the point of,
Yeah.
before you started doing 52 shows, but it could have been very easy for you in that moment. Like you'd made the decision, you got the cameras, you got all set up, and then the doubt and the fear says, like, who do you think you are? And it could have been very easy for you to look
Hmm.
around at your current reality and say, I can't do this. And you could have probably found lots of proof and validation for why you're not capable of doing that, or why you shouldn't do it, or why you're not worthy of it. And you continued to make that choice and say, no, I'm seeing, yes, this is my current reality, and I see something different. Like I see possibility, I see
Hmm.
potential. And I am going to take action from that place, not take action from what my current reality says. Because what happens when we make decisions and take action based on current reality, then we're just constantly perpetuating the past. We're never innovating, we're never creating a new possibility and future for ourselves. And so
Hmm.
it's not like being delusional. It's not being delusional. It is accepting current reality and saying, yes, this is my current reality, and I want more. I want
Yeah.
greater. I want reach. I want impact. I want connection. And I'm taking action right now today to create that into my life.
Yeah, 100%. That's completely true. And even in my case, it was something like the very first objection that I had in my mind. I'm not looking pretty on the camera. I don't think so.
Sure.
It's like I'm still like I don't, but who cares? No, nobody really cares about that thing out there. Nobody gonna create an objection. If someone really gonna do, it's like who are you really? Like why are you creating objections such like that? Do that really think affects in my life? If not, then it's not mattering at all. So
Yeah.
that was sort of thing out there that really like I have to do it. I have to do it. So yeah, that was truly the fact. So let's talk about like Katie's clarity. Like what's Katie's clarity is like. Talk us about that.
Yeah. So hashtag Katie's Clarity is a challenge that I created. I do a lot of really high end coaching. My clients pay me
Yeah.
$60,000 to $120,000 a year to work with me. And, that's a big chunk of money. At the same time, I told you in my story, I started from zero, nothing. So I know what it's like to be at every different point in your entrepreneurial journey. And I can actually help all of those people. And so recently I had people coming to me wanting my help, and I felt really bad, RJ. I kept having to turn them away. And this one individual, her name's Wanda, she came to me and she had been coming to me for like a year and a half. And I just didn't feel good about turning her away anymore. And it was in December. And I just said, Wanda, I'm going to help you, but I'm going to do it in a format where I'm helping other people too. And so this was on a Tuesday, RJ, that I was like, I'm going to
Yeah.
help you. I made the decision with her in my Instagram DMs. I immediately hopped on Instagram and I just said, hey, I am going to help you guys. and I'm doing this challenge. It's called #Katie's Clarity. I've talked with enough people to understand that one of the greatest things that's getting in the way for an entrepreneur is this inability to make decisions. And we've talked about choice a little bit today and how important that is. And so my responsibility that I feel towards entrepreneurs is helping them get clear in their mind. I really feel like your business and anybody else's business is your business and is between you and God and nobody else. And
Yeah.
my joy inside of coaching entrepreneurs is not coming in and telling them what to do. My joy is helping them understand how to be the master of their own business, how to make decisions inside of their business, and for them to be the hero of their own story and not me, right? And so I know that if I can help an entrepreneur get clarity, all the other things they need, right? The tools, the tactics, the tricks, the systems. I have those things, by the way, but like that's not what's getting in the way, RJ. Like everything's Googleable and YouTube. Like watch a YouTube
Yeah.
video on how to build a business. You have everything you need. The piece that's missing is this total confusion. We just live in such a noisy world that it can be crippling to make those decisions. And so I just know that when I help an entrepreneur who feels inspired, who feels called to share a message, share a product, share a service into the world, but they have that lack of clarity, I know that if I can help them get that clarity, that their impact can show up in the world. And so that's what #Katie's Clarity is all about, is helping entrepreneurs who feel called, who feel that responsibility to create change in the world, helping them get the clarity that they need. And we do it in 7 days, by the way. It's incredible. I'm teaching them very powerful principles, which then empower them to make the decisions, and it empowers them to choose what direction they need to go and what it is that they need to do.
That's super awesome out there. The way that you mentioned, like that lady. I guess yeah, the lady came up and how it really went away for the most of the people out there, because the even though like for some people out there, even though you're like charging like $60,000 to $120,000 per year, which is 100% super valuable, because I saw those people out there like Josh or Kathryn, which I like follow like through the time when I started out. I know like what they've become, and they've said their story multiple times about like what they were before
Yeah.
before they get coached by you and what they became. I saw the recent interview like Josh did with you, which was awesome.
Yes.
And he was talking about like Russell Brunson's sort of scenario as well,
Yeah.
that he wanted to give 100 Russell Brunson, and there was like you're gonna get Russell Brunson by yourself. He's gonna come. And I was like,
Yeah, and Russell came to him, and same with Kathryn. And like Kathryn's actually a really beautiful example, and she shared this story publicly, so I feel like I can share it as well.
yeah.
When she came to me, she had only made $5,000 ever in her business, RJ. It was like we started from zero, and within 18 months, she'd crossed the $1 million mark, and then 6 weeks, I think, after that, she'd already hit another 500,000. And she'll tell you the first 5 months of our coaching, we primarily we're just talking mindset stuff, and yet consistently between every one of our calls she was seeing significant growth of revenue inside of her business. Yeah, so it impacts everything more than you realize. And she even made a comment to me kind of recently and said, you can go into my Stripe account and you can see the spikes in income, and I can tell you the call that I had with Katie and the insight she helped me have and how that influenced the income.
Yeah, and she also had framed the very first invoice that she paid to you out there as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, so that was
Yeah.
also sort of crazy thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you're so spot on talking about mindset and how much it influences our business. It's everything. It's everything. So,
Yeah,
what things do you need to know, RJ? What do you need to know when it comes to mindset? How can I help you?
I think most of the people out there who really get stuck is they really don't know what, as you said, the world is full of noise and so many things out there. They really
Yeah.
don't know what's the very next step that they should go for, you know able to grow their mind plus they grow their business. What is the very next step that they should go for? So if you talk about one last thing about that, it
Yeah.
would be awesome.
Okay. I love this. Like, I just show up super present to this interview, and I love that you asked that question, and then I have an answer for you. Um, So part of why we are feeling stuck, feeling confused, afraid to make decisions is honestly we're believing lies. And we have these internal voices that speak to us all day long. And so the thing that I would say if you're trying to figure out, how to get a clear mind, how to get better at making decisions, it would be to actually start noticing that internal voice. It speaks to us so much all day, constantly, that it feels like it's truth, whatever it says and whatever it sees and whatever it's telling us. And what I have learned is oftentimes it's deceived itself, like that voice, and it's feeding us a lot of deception and lies. And so we have to become aware that there is a voice inside of our head and that you can't always trust it, honestly. And so separating you, the infinite you, the person who is special and valuable and of worth, separating that from your internal voice. So let me give you, can I get a little tactical here with you?
Sure.
Okay, because what you want to do is you want to move to a place of observation of that voice, and the tool that's going to help you to start to do that is curiosity. So when you have those thoughts that you're instantly believing and you don't even realize this is what's happening, it feels like truth. So to even question that voice feels like you're not facing truth. And I want you to know that even that is a lie. So what we
Yeah.
need to get really good at is noticing the voices, separating ourselves from the voices, and getting really good at observing the voice and using curiosity as the tool and being willing to be like, isn't that interesting? And the thing that I would share with you, somebody who models this really well is like a 3 to 5-year-old. If you've ever been around a 3 or 5-year-old, especially when it's your child and they're following you around, they're questioning everything that you're doing. And it's not them questioning your integrity. They're not questioning your intention. They're actually just really curious. Why do you do it that way? So why that? Okay, then why that? In a sense, that's what we want to do, is we want to shift to this place of immense curiosity and notice that voice and just be really curious about it. And that's going to be like a
Yeah.
huge step in this process of creating a powerful mindset.
Wow, wow. This is 100% awesome out there, and I'm pretty sure people definitely gonna love that thing out there. Is having people get a lot of ideas or things in their mind, or sort of like their voice, their intuitions out there, but not everything is true. Not everything is really the thing. But yeah, the sort of curiosity, and
Yeah.
to ask yourself, is that really, is that, having that curiosity
Yeah.
is definitely makes sense. And
Yeah. And
it is
this is
100%
to
awesome.
like go back to
And
what you were saying
to be
earlier.
very honest, there's so many things that we can talk about, but I really don't want to take your sort of time.
Sorry.
Yeah,
There
go
was
ahead. Go ahead.
major lag in my Wi-Fi. Are you there? Okay. I think we're caught up. Are you there, RJ?
Yep, yep. I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Okay. Cool. I I don't I was just going to say you mentioned how important it is to work with a coach, and this is why I work with a coach. This is why my clients work with a coach, because at each level there's a new level of deception. And so
Yeah.
it sometimes can take that outside external set of eyeballs to be like, actually that's not true, and you're like, what? I had no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I truly admire that you really said that out there, and I'm pretty sure people gonna be like
Yeah.
crazy
That's
that
my hope.
like what really happened. So like where people can find hashtag Kitty Clarity Challenge, and where people can find about you and everything out there.
Yeah. So there's two great places where you can find me. The Clarity Challenge, it actually just started, but if you want to come in, we can still help you. You can find a link to it on my Instagram, katie.live, or on Facebook. I think there's a link in my Facebook profile, Katie Richardson. It's like go.katiericardson.com/challenge. So you can find me there
Yeah,
inside of
we're
the
gonna add that.
challenge, or Or this is my podcast. I'm like trying to point to it. This is my podcast, which is amazing. It launched recently and it's called What's Working Now. And the whole purpose of this podcast is to really help people see and unlock their untapped potential. And it's a big part of what I do inside of my one-on-one coaching. And so I kind of introduce people to that world, and I share a lot of very personal stories in there. And then as well as we'll be doing some interviews. So those are the two places that you can find me, and you can kind of get more of what I'm teaching you inside those two places.
Awesome, awesome. We're definitely gonna post all of the links out there in the show notes and also in the comment section down below. So people, you need to check Katie out. If you're not part of Katie's world, you have to do it. So thank you so much, Katie, for being on the show. It was truly, truly great to have you on the show today.
Yeah, you're welcome, RJ. This was super fun. And I just have to tell you, I'm super proud of you. It's really impressive what you're
Thank you
doing.
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's truly an honor that you really said that, and it means a ton for me. And again, Katie, thank you so much. And guys, like, be sure to follow Katie. Be sure to be the part of Katie's world. And again, Katie, thank you so much. We're gonna see
Yeah.
you guys next on the next episode. Until then,